Hi everyone, it's Kelly Levine, the Closet Coach. Thank you for visiting my channel. I create videos that help people design closets that they love and are functional. So it's been a little while since I've done a video, about 5 months, and I wish I could say that I'm going to be consistent and do them every week, but I'm going to do the best that I can. Anyway, I did have somebody comment and ask for some pantries. You know what? I better get this microphone closer. And asked for some ideas on pantries. And as it is, I did quite a few pantries this year, and a lot of them have something in common that I didn't used to do a lot of. So I want to talk about that. I do have a pantry video talking about pantries with corner shelves and explaining that. So you can go back and watch that. It is in a playlist called Pantry, but this is going to be a little bit different. So as I normally do, I'm going to share my screen and we can start looking at pantries. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that I do when I'm working with clients, and the first thing that I would suggest that you do if you're thinking about remodeling your pantry, is think about what you want to be storing there. Some people store tons and tons of food. They've got a big family who are always going in and out of there. Other people store a lot of their appliances in there. And that leads to the next question. Do you want a countertop? Um, when I was selling pantries in Minnesota, there was a lot of those, angular pantries. They're about, 4 feet by 4 feet, and they're in a corner. And hardly ever did I have anybody that wanted a countertop in their pantry in those types of pantries. But here in Idaho, I have had a lot of people that really want a countertop in their pantry, even in those smaller pantries. Why would you want that? Maybe you want to store your Vitamix in there. Maybe you want to have your coffee set up there. Some people are having outlets put in their pantry so that they can put, extra crock pots if they have a party or something like that. Usually in the smaller ones, it would be more like the coffee pot or the Vitamix or something that they don't want sitting out on their main countertop, but that they'd like to have handy all the time. So think about that, if you want a countertop or not. And then, do you need a hard surface? If you're going to have crock pots and coffee and all that kind of stuff, my recommendation would be have a hard surface put in once you get your pantry in. And your pantry can be, out of melamine or wood, regardless of what materials you use. Wood and melamine are not as durable as a hard surface like a Formica or a Wilson art or a granite or quartz, something like that. So think about those things before you start, working on your pantry. If you're going to store a lot of food, you're going to want to do maybe a little bit more shelving, maybe more baskets or pull-out trays for cans, things like that, that you can access food items easier and actually get more in there at a lower height, so that if you've got kids, they can reach things. That's really how you can get your most bang for your buck, is by having not a lot of wasted space in between shelves. And I talk about that in my other video too, so I'm not going to go over all the math of figuring out how much more this type of a pantry will hold than your other pantry. Just take my word for it. It's a lot more when you've got adjustable shelving and you don't have, this much space wasted on every shelf because they're fixed. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys a couple pantries that I've done here. And the first one was a really nice size pantry. If you've watched me before, you're going to know that this is the floor plan as if we're standing above looking down at the pantry. So quite a big pantry, but as you can see here, it was narrow. She really wanted a countertop and going along this back wall. Okay. Actually, now I can't remember if she wanted it or if that's what I suggested, but either way, using this back wall was probably better than using this entire thing, because number one, she needed shelving and access, but because of the narrowness here, you know, it would make it tougher to get in. So by having this deeper just in the back, this is very easy to get into. And if you're wondering what that dimension is, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, it's about 30 inches here. So there's plenty of room, but you know, when you're carrying big appliances and things like that, you want some space to be able to move in there. And then because of that, we've got a 20-inch deep cabinet. So that would be probably about a 20.5-inch countertop, because she didn't have drawers or anything underneath. It was just open shelving to put, you know, some of the bigger appliances down there on the shelving. So similar to underneath your sink cabinets, as far as depth, this is 20. Most sink cabinets are 24 inches deep. So it's a nice size, it's a nice depth for crock pots, big skillets, you know, all that kind of stuff. Okay. And then on this, so number one, it was her idea to leave this 42 inches. I'm not exactly sure what she's going to do there, if she was going to store some brooms there, or if she just wanted a place for, you know, calendars for the family or whatever. But she did ask me to leave that space, which is why I just started here. Okay. So you could definitely do more shelving to the side, but you can't use this wall because you're going to be walking in here and you don't want, you know, to be walking into a cabinet. All right, so if we take elevation A and look at that here, we started out with shelving. And because she did, you know, she does have a family and wanted to store a bunch of food stuff, we left this open for the dogs. There was a lot of things that she wanted there for dog food. And when you're working in a pantry, if you've got things that you know you want on the floor, my suggestion would be to leave it open to the floor. Don't put a base in like we did here, because otherwise you've got to lift everything up onto that shelf. And if you're using it every day as something you pull out, you know, something like dog food containers or whatever, it's just more convenient to have it on the floor and be able to pull it out. But then we've got the baskets above, and these are 11-inch deep. Typically the baskets are made 18, 11, and about 7, depending on the manufacturer, but they're usually right around those dimensions. The 18-inch is extremely deep, and you'll see a picture here. If you're going to put chips, bags of chips, you know, and some things like that in there, you don't really want the 18-inch deep. So much is going to get lost at the bottom. I typically only use those 18-inch deep ones if they're going to be for laundry. Or if somebody really requests it, but otherwise it's super deep and you just can't get to the stuff that's on the bottom. Okay, so these are the 11 and 7-inch ones. And then we've got, you know, adjustable shelves above that. So lots of storage here. And then this portion, of course, is all storage as well. It's all upper cabinets. And we've spaced this a little bit higher than a normal kitchen. Usually there's about 18 inches there, but she wanted 21. I think that probably was for a Vitamix or some kind of blender, things like that. And then these right here are corner shelves. So they go, you know, around the corner, and then they put a hard top countertop on this. The pictures that I have don't show the hardtop countertop. I don't think it was in yet when I took this, but you'll get the idea of how functional this is. This is the CAD drawing of that same place. So if you're looking at CAD drawings, a little bit neater, but they typically don't have any notes. But anyway, I just thought I'd show you guys the CAD drawing that we generate at Idaho Custom Closets, because we do have a machine that cuts everything for us based on these CAD drawings. Okay, so here's that pantry in progress. You can see these for the baskets that went here were not installed yet when I took this picture. The baseboard was not in yet, but that would be white and filled in. But you can see, you know, the corner shelves, the shelving here. You've got all this upper shelving. So this is a really nice size pantry, very functional, but you can see from the picture that this isn't a, you know, ton of space here. So I wouldn't have wanted to make that any tighter, which is why we went with the 20-inch. And then we did end up making these 16. So they're slightly deeper than these, which are 14, which is still deeper than a typical upper kitchen cabinet. But this is going to hold a lot more. And then I'll show you the picture. So you can see she's got a lot of stuff in here. I'm guessing a lot of this stuff was on the floor because she didn't have the baskets yet. But, you know, you can see she's got, you know, some food items in here. These are great for chips, all kinds of different things that you can stick in there. Okay. And there is that Vitamix right there, fitting under that 21 inches. Okay, so they were still moving in, so it's a little bit messy, but you kind of get the idea. These baskets are on rails, so they pull out like a drawer, very sturdy and nice. You can get liners for them if you'd like as well. All right, so there is a big pantry. Now, this design has been really popular, and so I also wanted to show you guys really quick that it can be scaled down to a smaller pantry. And this is one of the smaller pantries that I've done. You can see it's only 40 inches deep. And so I was kind of like, ooh, can we do a countertop in there? How tight is this going to get? So you can see here, I only used 12-inch deep to keep this back, and we only did 16 on the bottom. That's going to give you a 17-inch deep countertop there. And if you're looking at this and saying, why did you leave that wall? It's because of this right here. She was going to put up a couple hooks here for brooms, but you've got to make sure that you can get in there. And, you know, bringing this over to here would have left her less than 6 inches to get into that wall. So I moved it over enough so that she could, you know, easily get her hand in there, easily be able to clean in there, and be able to hang some brooms and things up. All right, so we've got kind of the same thing. She didn't opt for any baskets, but we've got adjustable shelving here first. And then you can see just a little bit going around the corner. And that mainly is to free up this corner to get bigger appliances back there. If I would have brought the shelf over to here, you would have had what we call a blind corner back there, and it would have been less useful, or you could still have used it, but it would have been a lot more difficult to get things in and out. Whereas, you know, moving it around the corner just a little bit gives you a much easier access there. All right, so that is, you know, we've got one there, and then she wanted to do, you know, some vertical storage. So, sorry, horizontal storage, I guess horizontal, this vertical this way. Vertical storage, like I said. At any rate, we did a couple of those at the end for filing like baking sheets and different things like that. Okay, so that is it. You know, I'm kind of showing you the two extremes here, and then there would be everything in between. And you could certainly have done this pantry without the countertop. But like I said, if you think about what you want to use that for, you can see that they were thinking about that because they had their contractor put, you know, a couple outlets in here, and so that they could use that as a little bit of a landing area. Okay, I'm going to show you a picture of this now. This was the CAD drawing of this pantry. And then here is the final, and my installer took this, so not the best angle, but you get the idea that we've got a little countertop here. We've got the uppers, Here are all your adjustable shelves. We've got the nice big shelf back here for putting, you know, bigger crock pots and things like that on. And then she's got her vertical storage there. All right, so I hope this gives you an idea of some different things that you can do in pantries. It doesn't have to be just shelving around the corner. But do think that through before you decide that you want a countertop. One of the downfalls is it does take up a little bit of the storage space. And if you're somebody that likes things really neat and you don't want a whole lot of things on the counter, then it could end up being just, you know, an empty space most of the time. So do think that through. You can do this type of a pantry with a custom closet company, with a company like Easy Closets. You'd have to search to find pieces to do this with through, you know, like a box store. But you could potentially hire a contractor to modify some of that stuff for you. So it's a fairly simple design. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or if you've had any success with designing and putting in pantries, what other things that you liked. Yeah, and if you need help, if this is all way too overwhelming, I do have links where you can hire me to help you design a space, whether it be a pantry, a master bedroom, any kind of closet. I'm thinking about modifying the way I work with people. Right now, I really just have an option to hire me for doing a reach-in closet or a walk-in closet. I'm thinking about changing that to being potentially an hourly type of a thing. So let me know if you have any comments about that as well. Sometimes people might just have a question or two, and if it's too much for me to answer just in the comments, if you want something more specific regarding a design that you've done, but you're not sure if it's right, I might have some other options for that. All right, hope you're having a great day. Again, thank you for being here. Please subscribe, share it with people that you think might benefit, and we'll see you next time. Take care.